Driving into Utah is it's a pretty surreal experience. It's unlike anywhere else I've ever been. You know, it couldn't be more different to being at home. Every rider that comes to Rampage is forced out of their comfort zones and forced into this new environment that no one really is at home in. Everyone is kind of struggling to adjust, struggling to adapt, and everyone's got an area they're good at, but at the same time, everyone's got this challenge of Utah. Rebel Rampage is an event that's designed to make people feel uncomfortable, but at the same time, bring out the best in their riding, I think. You're putting some of the best riders in the world in this environment that's either going to make them shine or completely break them, and it is a completely unique experience, and you know, for me, that's what makes Rampage. Sun's just come up. It's like 7 o'clock, I think. Pretty mad getting your head around it. First day you turn up, everything looks huge, and you're just like, what am I thinking, you know? I don't even touch the bike for the first few days. You just dig in and scout in and trying to find what to do and where to go. You're an architect, you know, and you can just build absolutely whatever you fancy, and you've got this whole area to build it, and you just have to be in control of like how big you're making yourself go and how wild you get in.
We're nearly at the top of the Rampage course. It's beautiful, but it's sketchy, man. The lines that Gee comes up with, it's just, I would say, insane. I've been to some crazy places, man. This is ridiculous.
One of the things that makes Rampage so unique is the dirt there. It's this kind of powdery, dusty dirt. You know, nobody's used to it. It's a foreign environment to everyone, really.
It's kind of lunar. I mean, it's Europeans come over here, and it's you know, it's just a totally different planet for them, you know, and I think that kind of shows what this place is. It's so unique to just this area.
You know, the upside is you can have a huge crash and get away with a lot of stuff there because it is this kind of dirt that breaks up. At the same time, you know, the first few days you see riders just struggling to get used to it, struggling to stay upright. And to adjust to riding on it is super difficult. To be able to come through that whole week, survive it, and come out the other side unscathed is, you know, it's not a very regular occurrence, really. The danger element is definitely what's built Rampage into the prestigious event it is, I think. You know, it's the only event all year that riders are there and they're genuinely scared.
Kind of gusting, isn't it?
So scared.
Really?
Like, more than I've ever been.
Really? You're not feeling it?
They're genuinely nervous about what they're riding and genuinely worried about what they're riding.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's like intimidating the first few days you're here, and then I think you're like acclimatized to it after a while.
First day of riding at Rampage for me went as badly as it could, really. I was just warming up, kind of getting into it, decided to try this small step down and coming to it way too slowly, managed to case it really badly.
Jeez! Case the fuck out of it.
Oh. And I tweaked my ankle a bit, you know, but at the time thought nothing of it. To start with, you know, I was ignoring it because of how small the gap was.
Fuck my ankle.
Gradually, as time went on, you know, that evening, the next morning, it almost got to the point where I couldn't walk on it. You know, I bit the bullet and got loaded up to hospital. And turning up at hospital first day of riding Rampage was, you know, that's the last place I wanted to be.
So a bad sprain, push down again like the gas pedal.
How quickly do these things, like...
A good week or two, reassess how things are going.
I'm meant to be riding like tomorrow and the next, and it's going to be like a big impact on it.
Gonna be pretty sore.
Do you think there'll be much difference in like 2 days? Change much?
Probably not an awful lot.
Right. The prognosis was keep weight off it, don't ride on it, and, you know, rest up for a few weeks, which doesn't really get any worse 3 days before Rampage. I guess last time I couldn't start an event because I nailed myself was probably Rampage like 4 years ago, in this exact same spot. Rampage just kicks my ass sometimes. It goes good Rampage, bad Rampage every year, alternates. I hate this feeling. It's been a long time since I've had it, you know. You just feel like a pussy. I think I should just be like going through the pain and strapping up and cracking on with it. But as soon as I try, it's no chance of happening. So all week I was a bit unsure of what I'd done, and that is a horrible feeling. At times, after icing and painkillers, I'd be walking on it a little bit, and that just niggling doubt would come back into my mind, like maybe I'm going to be able to ride this week. And Friday night was the climax of it, when it was almost getting unbearable to not know whether I'd be able to ride or not, and I got to the point where I was just going to have to make a decision.
Gee, man, what are you doing?
Last minute bike test.
Yeah.
Actually more of a foot test than a bike test. So 10 o'clock Friday night, we were out in the car park. Pete had my bike built back up.
Gee, are you riding tomorrow?
No, don't know yet, boys.
What do you think, Pete?
He's insane, that's first. He just wants to ride so much, man. I bet he's just gonna strap it up, get it out. Yeah, this sounds stupid.
I was riding around the car park trying to test it out, which is a completely stupid place to be, because we're talking about riding down Rampage.
Does it feel better when you're riding than walking?
Yeah, definitely. Somehow from that, I decided that it could be on.
Gee, man, what are we doing?
Buy supplies. There's tomorrow, might be on. It's got 9 hours to heal. That's all I'm giving it. It's pretty early. 6:45 right now. Off to the Rampage site for a testing session. We're driving into the Rampage site, all locked and loaded and ready for what could be a day back on the bike. You know, worst case scenario was that I was going to ride and it was too painful and I was going to have to pull out. But at the same time, there was a chance that I was going to ride and I was going to be back in Rampage, basically. Let's get up there. My mindset going into that morning was super focused. I was pretty determined that I was going to ride and I was going to push through it. Time was tight, and if I was going to be riding the next day, then I had to have some pretty big stuff under my belt. And I worked out the rate I was going to have to push on and advance at for that all to happen, and it was a pretty steep curve. Need to hit something a bit bigger, really, to see how it feels like on a harsh one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit this big stuff or not. I'll give this a go. I think the point I decided that I was going to be able to ride and I was going to be able to give it a go was after I hit my gap from 2010. Yeah, that was definitely a turning point. That was the kind of moment where I decided I was back, really. Oh, like just bloody, just got over it. That woke me up. It's the warm-up line this year. Boomed it! Fuck you. It's like the best I've ever got this big gap to war ride. Just need to hit the top stuff and then it could be on for tomorrow. The crux of the line this year was in the midsection, a big step down we built. It was definitely one of the biggest gaps I'd ever hit and was something that was really playing on my mind. And when I got to the point that I was ready to hit it, you know, that mindset of making sure I was 100% focused and 100% ready to hit it is quite a difficult frame of mind to get into, you know. That's one of the gnarly things about Rampage, you know. Sometimes you set a ball rolling and it's not going to finish until you've hit that gap. And whatever the outcome, you know it's on the cards. Next thing I know, I was on the floor with the wind smashed out of me, everything hurting. I was just on the floor, just no idea what was happening.
How's your back?
It's fine, man. My neck's fine. I can let go of my head.
Think you can walk?
Yeah.
You got some blood there.
Hey, Brian, let's go ahead and hold off. He's doing good. He's okay.
The moment I hit the kicker, I knew that the speed was spot on, but I was completely offline. And I remember being in the air thinking, why is there a cliff in front of me?
How you feeling there, G?
Bit fucking light-headed. It was a good hit, I'd say.
Are you definitely not gonna ride?
Yeah, I can't ride now, man. I hit my head too hard. I've learned my lesson from riding the day after knocking myself out, and if I ride tomorrow, it'll be too risky, you know?
For me, Rampage is an incredible event. It's so impressive to see just how gnarly an event it is and how much it's pushing the boundaries of mountain biking. The strongest feeling I always come out of Rampage with is just how proud it makes me feel to be a mountain biker and to be involved with the sport as it is. For me, the future is all about the racing, and if Rampage has showed me anything this week, it's how much more we've got to get from the racing, you know, how much further we can push things, how much harder we can still go, and that's an incredible feeling to have, and I'm pretty stoked for the next few years racing and just to see how much things advance really.